Look deep into my eyes and you will see the top 10 best vampire movies. Were you looking at my boobs? The first movie you're going to remember from our worst vampire movie list. There's no denying that a franchise that's made over $1 billion domestically is doing something that people like a lot. So now, in the fifth and final film, there's no more explaining to be done in the Twilight series. Bella has gotten into her groove.
I was born to be a vampire.
She and her sparkly hubby Edward have made a monster baby that has the Volturi's immortal knickers in a twist.
I have to report a crime. The Cullens, they've done something terrible.
So now, instead of impassioned and tortured looks at vampires and werewolves, and brooding, and playing old-timey baseball, it's just business. The business of kicking butt. Anybody can appreciate that. When drifters come through your dusty, tiny town, you'd best lock the shutters. But all bets are off when they're vampire drifters, and you've got life pumping through your veins. Near Dark stars Bill Paxton is one really mean bloodsucker with no separation anxiety.
I'm gonna separate your head from your shoulders.
And Caleb is a new vampire who has but one task.
But you have to learn to kill.
Lance Henriksen and the rest of the Drifter crowd keep giving him a hard time, and I think they've oversimplified their violent lifestyle.
It's something that you do night after night.
Okay, something I do night after night is a cucumber facial with some herb tea. I am way out of my league with these guys.
The times roll!
Near Dark was directed by Oscar winner Catherine Bigelow and reminds us to always be careful when knocking on motel doors.
Check out time.
And another thing, don't play in traffic. How could Lost Boys possibly be scary when I'm staring deep into 80s era Jason Patric's eyes? Oh, okay, that snapped me out of it. Michael and Sam moved to Santa Clara, a place where they have carnivals and local gangs who, when they hang around the railroad tracks, really hang around the railroad tracks. Wait, that is not normal. Where did Kiefer Sutherland go? All right, he's a vampire and he's trying to turn Michael into one too.
You're a vampire, Michael. My own brother, a damn blood-sucking vampire. Oh, you wait till Mom finds out, buddy.
This movie has a great soundtrack that features Echo and the Bunnymen covering the Doors, as well as a song that I know you remember called Cry Little Sister, which features a children's choir of the undead. There's also tons of great scares. Like that one. The Hunger is one of the artsiest and hottest vampire movies around. It stars, well, this guy will tell you.
The timeless beauty of Catherine Deneuve, the cruel elegance of David Bowie, the open sensuality of Susan Sarandon.
Miriam is a vampire that takes human beings as her lovers. She prefers people who have trouble using payphones, but can play cello. She hates it when you wear sunglasses, but she loves monkeys. Who doesn't really? Although it's been called a lot of things, these words are probably the best to describe it.
Haunting, mysterious, sensual, strange, perverse, riveting.
By this time, I'm sure you're getting a little riled up.
Everybody be cool. You be cool.
Even if you're not nuts about Quentin Tarantino being in front of the camera, his role in From Dusk Till Dawn is memorable if nothing else. Quentin and George kidnap a family.
I'm gonna ask you one question, and all I want is a yes or no answer. Do you want to live through this?
And then they all get stuck in a bar that's a hotbed of vamp activity.
This is my kind of place.
Oh my God, look at her. Wow. No, snap out of it. That's what the vamps do to get you to lower your guard. And then they do this. Director Robert Rodriguez made sure that this film was packed with wall-to-wall action, and that makes it completely excellent. Juliette Lewis with the crossbow for the win! Her only competition for most awesome is George Clooney.
Welcome to slavery.
No thanks. I already had a wife.
And Clooney is so cool, he talks trash to sexy vampires. You gotta love that guy. Totally classic. Speaking of classics, if this next film had been available in America during its 1922 release, they would have canceled Prohibition in a heartbeat. Nosferatu was a Dracula ripoff that scared the lederhosen off the Germans and is still scary as hell almost a century later. Max Schreck is Count Orloff, who casts the world's creepiest shadow and is never in danger of winning any beauty contests. Ugh, so disturbing. He lives in a castle, he disturbs his house guests, etc. It's been ripped off so many times that it might seem boring now, but I dare you to watch it with the lights off. There's never been another vampire that quite lives up to him. Or should I say deads up to him? Okay, no, because it doesn't make sense, but hopefully you see where I was going with that. Okay, now here's a nice movie about swimming and swinging. Oh, no, not a nice movie. This is a scary Russian movie called Night Watch about how in medieval times, forces of light and dark yelled into a guy's ear at the same time. They struck a truce and have enough stories for a horror trilogy from Timur Bekmambetov. What makes this film great is amazing action and innovative special effects, and a really interesting story about how I imagine life in Russia must be. Like, I could have sworn I saw something on Fox News about Russian spider baby dolls and people that can see through your head, and hooliganism. These people are crazy over there. While we're out of America, let's bring up Park Chan-wook and how Thirst took what could have been an average vampire movie and made it about bigger things like faith and morality and mean mahjong games. Song Kang-ho stars as a priest who's deeply saddened and filled with doubt about his life as a man of the cloth. When he has an opportunity to be a human test for a virus vaccine, oopsies, it turns him into a vampire. Unfortunately, his sadness doesn't disappear, it just needs to be fed with blood. Which is a real warning to everybody who likes doing those clinical trials. It's sexy like vampire movies should be, and it has great effects, but it also ponders whether monsters ever completely lose their humanity. I'm still not sure about the answer, but the journey of figuring it out is super creeping me out. Or maybe it's just her. I'm required by Los Angeles city law to inform you of this Nicolas Cage alert. It's like an Amber Alert, but with worse wigs.
You are so pathetic.
In Vampire's Kiss, Peter is a buttoned-up businessman who just thinks he's met a hot chick.
I'm Peter Lowe.
Rachel.
Then she bites him, and he's convinced he's turning into a vampire. But is he?
The tortures of the damned!
Is he slowly shifting into someone who eats cockroaches? Or was he always the kind of guy who jumps on desks and hassles his secretary?
It's a horrible, horrible job. And you have to do it.
Aside from being one of the best vampire movies ever, it's also one of the best comedies ever and one of the best Cage flicks of all time.
Shoot. Do it or I'll fire you. Do you understand? Not the floor, Alva.
It's really bugging me. What is this guy really?
I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire!
You've been very patient, so here's our number one. Ooh, wait, I know this one. Hitler. No. The Emperor. Oh, no. Rachel Ray. Okay, I give up.
I am Dracula.
Look deep into my eyes and tell me that Dracula starring Bela Lugosi shouldn't be number one. You can't do it, right? I know this might seem a little obvious, but this guy is the master who set us up with the classic vampire standard we have today, which is shockingly similar to the gold standard if you ask the US Treasury. Dracula is busy seducing chicks and having lights aimed at his eyes, but the supporting cast is also giving you their all, like this guy.
Rats. Thousands. Millions of them.
Ooh, you've just seen the origins of the first exterminating company, I guess. There's tons of classic drama and horror here.
This is Dracula, the original terrifying story of a maniac and a man who lived after death, lived on human blood, took the form of a vampire bat, and lured innocent girls to a fate truly worse than death.
Ooh, like Bret Michaels on Rock of Love. I guess the more things change, the more they stay the same. None of these fantastic vampire movies made any mistakes. Right? Do you get it? Stakes? Like the thing that you do with the guy that okay, fine. If you're so much better at puns than me, or if we forgot any of your favorite vampire movies, make sure to comment down below after you click subscribe and share and the tweeting and all that stuff. And we'll see you next week. Sometimes I suck at this a little bit. I had to get one more in.
Gray Drake takes a stab at the worst vampire movies ever made. Screen Addict host Ben Lyons gives his take on the latest Hollywood movies and filmmaking news. Phil Gower decides to take his love of Twilight to the streets, determined to be first in line. His love of Twilight is twi-hard and will not die. Devin Faraci bellies up for a martini with 3 fellow critics to decide which Bond is the greatest. JB Smoove and his buddy Garfield can't get enough of Twilight as they tell us what they heard about Breaking Dawn Part 2. Hit the red carpet at AFI Fest 2012 with IndieWire.